The taxi pulled up to the curb. Captain Peter Xavier's heart pounded. He was finally home. 8 months in the dust and heat of a distant land felt like a lifetime. Now, all he could think about was seeing his wife, Linda, and his precious 4-year-old daughter, Melissa. He wanted to surprise them. He imagined Melissa's face, her bright eyes widening with joy. A smile spread across Peter's face. He couldn't wait to hold his little girl. He paid the driver and grabbed his duffel bag. The familiar weight felt good in his hand. He walked up the driveway, his footsteps echoing in the quiet afternoon. The porch swing creaked gently, empty. Peter frowned. That was unusual. Linda usually spent afternoons there, sipping iced tea and reading. He put his key in the lock and stepped inside. Silence. The house was eerily quiet. "Linda? Melissa?" Peter called out. His voice echoed in the empty hallway. No answer. Unease crept into his heart. He walked through the living room. Toys lay scattered on the floor. A half-eaten sandwich sat on the coffee table. It looked like they had left in a hurry. He checked Linda's bedroom, then the bathroom. Empty. A wave of panic washed over him. Where could they be? His gaze fell on the kitchen door. It was closed, unusual for their open-plan house. He walked towards it, his heart pounding in his chest. He reached for the doorknob, a knot of dread tightening in his stomach. It was locked. "Melissa?" Peter's voice shook. He rattled the doorknob, his fear escalating. "Daddy's here, honey. Open the door." Silence, then a soft sob from the other side. His blood ran cold. He threw his weight against the door. It wouldn't budge. He kicked it, once, twice, until the wood splintered and the lock gave way. The sight that greeted him shattered his heart. Melissa huddled on the cold floor, her tiny body curled in on itself. Her eyes were red and swollen, tear tracks staining her cheeks. She looked up at him, her face a mixture of fear and relief. "Daddy!" she cried, scrambling towards him. He scooped her up in his arms, holding her close. His little girl was thin, her skin pale. Locked away. Peter showered Melissa with kisses, his heart aching for her. He gently questioned her, piecing together the story. Linda had been locking Melissa in the kitchen whenever Peter called. She told Melissa it was a game, a way to make Daddy's homecoming even more special. But Melissa knew it wasn't true. She was scared, hungry, and desperately missed her father. She confessed that Linda's sons, from a previous marriage, were allowed to roam free. They even taunted her, calling her names through the locked door. Peter was enraged. Linda had never liked Melissa, always finding faults, always favoring her own sons. But to lock her away like an animal, it was unforgivable. A glimmer of hope. As Melissa ate the sandwich Peter made, he noticed a kind face peering through the window. It was their neighbor, Karen, a sweet older woman who always had a kind word for Melissa. She'd noticed Melissa looking thinner, looking sad. She started leaving small bags of treats by the back door, knowing something wasn't right. Melissa, starved for affection, looked forward to Karen's small acts of kindness. Peter felt a surge of gratitude for this woman who had shown his daughter more love than his own wife. He knew what he had to do. He would confront Linda. He would ensure Melissa's safety. He would make this right. As Karen came in, her eyes filled with concern, Peter knew they weren't alone. They had found an ally, a glimmer of hope in a dark situation. And as he hugged his daughter close, he vowed to be the father she deserved, to create a happy ending for their little family.